In terms of indications, do you said right-sided endocarditis, it's kind of moving very quickly to becoming the most preferred way of aspirating the actual endocarditis. Is that accurate?
I think so, yes. I think the field is headed in that direction.
And in terms of imaging modalities, so before you start, what would you like to see, and walk us through how you prepare the patient for the procedure?
Yes, absolutely. So we do TEE, obviously, on all these patients. The TEE, what I want to see is the location of the vegetation. The best locations for aspiration, if it's right-sided, again, this is off-label, but if it's right-sided, it would be on the atrial side of the tricuspid valve or in the ventricle if there's a lead. Anything under the tricuspid valve on the ventricular side, those are difficult to get to. There are certain techniques, like, for example, crossing the tricuspid valve, ramping up the flows and pulling back. So there are certain maneuvers that could be done, but those can be a little difficult. Luckily, they're not very common. By the way, also, I ask the imagers to pay attention, even if it's right-sided, for right-sided infective endocarditis, if there's a PFO, they're at risk of stroke. And I use cerebral embolic protection if I see a PFO. It's controversial. Many people, it's a point of argument, but I think I've had colleagues who've caught material in the Sentinel device doing that. If it's on the left side, again, extremely off-label, but the devices, they're designed for the right side. They've been used in a transeptal fashion for atrial side, for any left atrial vegetation or mass or thrombus, or from a retroaortic standpoint. There are devices that can reach, they have enough length to reach in a retroaortic fashion to get the aortic valve if it's on the aortic side of the valve.
So only a TEE, you don't need a cardiac CT to evaluate the other aspects that are not visualized by TEE?
Yeah, so a cardiac CT is always helpful. Many people do it just to size the veins, especially if we're considering large bore access and whatnot. Definitely, if I'm going retroaortic, I definitely would get a CT scan to size the vessels, because especially if I'm using continuous flow systems where we need a big size vessels. So right now, if it's a standard right-sided case, don't do it routinely. But if it's left-sided or I'm concerned about, if it's a smaller patient, I'm concerned about the vein size, I would do it. But otherwise, I don't routinely do it. But other centers do it routinely.
And talking about imaging during the procedure, this brings up TEE versus ICE versus a combination. Tell us what your experience has led you to do these days.
Yeah, so I'm biased towards TEE. It just frees my head and one less thing to worry about during the procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the patient comfort with the large bore accesses, especially sometimes we have to go IJ for the aspiration catheter. It all depends on the location of the vegetation or thrombus or whatever we're going after, or infected thrombus. But I like TEE. It helps me do the sequence. And by the way, we have a system of a sequence of imaging, just like we do for structural intervention. So it's a language, it's a common language between us and the imager. So the first set of imaging is dedicated to assembly of the device. So if the catheters, if there's cannulas or sheaths, we assemble them away from the mass, and that's the first set of images dedicated to that. After that is the approach. So I call it the 4 A's, the assembly, and then we approach. So what we do is we turn on the flows, and the next set of images is to just push the aspirating catheter close to the vegetation. And then after that, I ask the imager to explain through the mass or the thrombus or the infected thrombus, and then I see it in two views. And so I basically fine-tune while there's low flows of aspiration, again, because as something breaks off, you want it to go into the cannula. So with this explain, I fine-tune the position of the catheter to be in close proximity to the target in two views, and then ramp up the flows and attack it. So that's and then the last set of imaging is to look at structural damage or residual mass or thrombus to go after. So,
and some of those patients may be very sick with torrential tricuspid regurgitation, right-sided failure, of course. Would you worry about intubation in those kind of patients, and would you consider just pure ice if someone is very sick and hanging by a thread?
So I do general anesthesia on all these patients for that reason. They are sick, but sometimes if they're not a TE candidate, they have esophageal issues, etc., I'll use ice. Some argue that if you're doing a left-sided case and you can do it conscious sedation with ice, if possible, just in case if there's a neurologic event that the patient's awake and can at least they do it awake actually without conscious sedation so that they can detect it earlier. But to me, I think I've done the vast majority of my cases with TE, and again, it's one less thing for me to worry about, and it gives the depth of field that ice does not necessarily give. Plus, if it's an atrial structure, and this is another catheter that you have to be careful not to interact with the whatever target there is. So I mean, many will argue back, but I favor. It's a resource too, right?
Right.
Not many. It's a resource too. So whatever is convenient for the operator and the center, I think that's what dictates the choice ultimately.